What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy D back with you once again, and today we bring back a segment I like to call Fan Friday. And what Fan Friday is, it is a segment that I do of people whose vehicles I am a huge fan of. It just so happens that I met a young man by the name of Phil, and I saw his 1969 Bronco and I fell freaking in love with it. And so, of course, everybody knows Bronco is back in the news because Ford just unveiled the 2021 Ford Bronco. And so Ford really did a good job of wanting to pay homage to the old school Bronco, that they did a lot of the cues on this new Bronco that was taken from the old Bronco. So without further ado, everybody, here we go. Fan Friday with our buddy Phil.
Hi, my name's Phil Falconer. This is my 1969 Bronco Sport. It was driven off the lot by my grandfather in December of 1968, and it's been in the family ever since. And we went fishing in it on the Potomac, on the Potomac River, and sit on the tailgate, eating lunch and fishing. Some great memories there, camping, hunting, everything. So when my grandfather had some painting to do, he paid my brother with the Bronco. Well, the Bronco switched between my other two brothers, and then one of them wanted to sell it. And I said, no way. So that was in 1996. I picked up the Bronco. It was a rusted mess. So it ran for 4 years. The engine died. It was a straight six 170, 3 on the column. And that died. It was all gone. And what happened was it sat for 17 years, and then in that 17 years I had to get the money together, and then finally got it together and then put it into the restoration house in February 17. I got it back in August of 18 to drive it in my mother's funeral procession. It was her father's, so I thought it would be fitting. So as far as what was done, it was a total frame-off restoration. It was very rusted. It was a mess. So they couldn't even take the body off the frame because it was so rusted. So they had to do all the body work while it was still on the frame. Once all the bad steel was taken out of it and the new pieces put in, they were able to lift that body off. So they farmed out the axles, had them rebuilt. They powder coated everything. The axles were powder coated, rebuilt and powder coated. The Dana 20 transfer case, same thing. And the frame, down to the frame, it was also powder coated. So when they put it back together, all new hardware, every clip, fastener, nut, bolt, and washer has been replaced on this. And this color is a Britney Blue from a 67 Shelby color. If you've ever seen the 67 Shelby GTs, it's this color without a clear coat. And as soon as I saw it, it caught my eye, and that was it. I didn't have to look at any more paint chips. I was done. I only took one look. The roof is Wimbledon white, as they all were. And this Wimbledon white color is still used today on those white stripes on the dark colored Mustangs, the Le Mans stripes. The interior, those are the original seat frames, but obviously not the original foam and upholstery. So this was the same original color of parchment. This is what we call parchment, and it's all vinyl. Yes, it's hot. And when I put it back together, I made sure that the builder didn't put anything on it that wasn't on it before, like air conditioning. And there's no AC in this. I did not use vintage AC, but I put a twin stick setup there on the Dana 20. Now the engine, what's under the hood, has another story. I grew up with a 1970 Ford Country sedan with this exact same 351 Windsor. So the station wagon was used as the family station wagon. It was used for towing. It was used, we went to Florida in it without air conditioning, and in the summer. But this was the same engine that we all grew up with in that station wagon. And of course, as those 70s vintage Fords go, they rusted. So we parted out the engine and the transmission and trashed that station wagon This engine sat in my brother's shed for about 25, 30 years, and it rusted up, totally seized. The machine shop got a hold of it. They were able to get all the rusted parts out, unseize it. They had to board over 30 thousandths to save the block. That was the only thing that we could save, was the block and the crank. So right now we have the Edelbrock RPM aluminum heads. We have the forged connecting rods, forged pistons, and that is a Holley 650 CFM carburetor sitting up front there. And the drive pulley system is from March Performance. And your radiator is a Ron Davis 4-core. The cooling setup was tricky because what happens is these have poor circulation, so the engines keep overheating. So we had to put on that 4-core to keep it from overheating with that thermostat controlled fan. So it keeps that temperature at 195, and it does a very good job at it. Except a couple weeks ago when it was almost 100 degrees, it did get a little warm, but we were able to keep it cool. As far as the interior goes, the only thing I changed was the 3-point lap belts, or 3-point belts, safety belts rather than the 2-point lap belts. And it has a 4-point roll bar. And on that 4-point roll bar is a lift, a jack pretty much to be able to get on there. It's called a high lift. That's the 48-inch variety, but that's the only thing high enough that will allow me to jack up this Bronco to change a tire. The steering column is a tilt wheel called from I Did It. That's an I Did It column, and that is a classic instrument gauge. And that classic instrument gauge also has a tack in it. The original instrument cluster did not have a tack, so that unfortunately we couldn't save the old one. And if you look there, the manual choke knob is still in place. This had manual choke on the 6-cylinder, but now I've gone with the automatic choke. It's all heater controlled. And there's your twin sticks on your Dana 20 transfer case. Your left lever is for your front axle, the right is for the rear. The 3 on the column has been long since swapped for the 4R70W, 4-speed automatic overdrive transmission. And that has there's a shift controller up underneath that controls the shifting. And that's already been programmed, so it does get some half decent gas mileage. Instead of like 10 or 11 miles a gallon, I may get 12 or 13. So, but with that big V8 in there, I had to change the fuel tank to a 23-gallon tank, and dropping that tank is a major ordeal. So, so it's got a stainless steel exhaust. The stainless steel exhaust is from, you got Flowmaster tips, MagnaFlow mufflers, or if you want to call them mufflers, they're more like resonators, and the headers are your Headman long tube headers to give you some good low end torque. I kept the spare carrier in the back because I wanted to keep it as original looking as possible. But I did indeed make some changes that made it more drivable. 4-wheel disc brakes on the corners, vacuum assist, and I put the 3-point or the class 3 hitch on there. So that's about the extent of what was done. The cargo area is small. With that rear seat in there, there's not much cargo area at all. So my grandfather used this Bronco a lot. He was a wood turner, and he made candlesticks and bowls and things like that, and he went to a lot of craft shows, so he rarely had that rear seat in because he kept hauling stuff everywhere. He'd haul wood. He'd go out to these orchards and find broken down trees. The orchard guys would call him and say, "Hey, I got some peach wood or some apple wood for you." He'd take it home and make these bowls and candlesticks from apple or cherry. Came out absolutely gorgeous. And I do have some of his pieces left. And unfortunately, they're very hard to find. He's no longer with us. So.
Well, thank you very much, Phil. I'm going to end up, that's it right there. So Phil, thank you very much for sharing this beautiful Ford Bronco with us. Of course, everyone knows that the Bronco is the new hot item right now. And it seems like everybody is getting a little bit more appreciation for the older Broncos right now because of the new Broncos that are coming out. Everybody is really looking back at, and Ford is totally doing it. Like, they actually have a lot of pieces on the new Bronco that is paying homage to the old, as you can see right here, the old Bronco. So it's a very nostalgic, newer vehicle, and that's really caused a lot of people to kind of look back and see what it was that made the Bronco so special.
Right, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Thank you so very much. I definitely appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Oh, Lord. Well, everybody, there you have it. I want to thank Phil for allowing me to just take some time with him and to go over his beautiful ride. It's without a doubt, one of the most beautiful Broncos, one of the most beautiful cars that I think I've ever done, and he's done a lot of work to it. So, buddy, thank you very much for allowing me to do that, and also thank you for your service. He is a Air Force veteran, so thank you so very much. And on that note, everybody, as always, if you like the video, make sure you hit that like button. If you like the channel, please go ahead and smash that subscribe button if that's what you're into. And as always, everyone, remember, everybody deployed, and I'm out.